Hello Chain Gang, welcome back to the Four Chains Travel, where we are currently on our 4th trip to Venice, Italy, and our favorite day trip, which is the island of Burano. Watching the glass blowing in Murano is an alternative, but we've already shown you that before. We also love Palma Nova, but feel strongly that it deserves more than a day trip, so that makes Burano the best choice. And although this trip can be a costly tour, you can easily do it on your own, and we're going to show you how.
Burano is known as the most colorful city in Italy, but you don't need an expensive tour to experience that or really anything else.
There's a misconception, totally understandable, that if you want to go to Burano or Murano, you have to pay a lot of money for a boat tour to get there, but in fact the traghettos get there. Now we see on the traghettos lots of tour guides, so they've paid that tour guide to walk them to the vaporetto. I'm sorry, I said traghetto, vaporetto. I keep making that mistake. I'm old. But in fact, what you can do is take the 5.2 to Fundamento Nuova, which is this station that we're at now, and then you can take the A ferry to Burano. That's the only one. By the way, B, C, and D are all located together. The A is separate, so I'm going to show you that. Over there is the B, C, and D, and that's behind me. And then in front of me, that is the A station where you see Angie walking down the stairs. So you might be looking at all the things to see which one goes to Burano, and none of them say they do. They all say Murano, though. So just go over the bridge that we're walking over now and go to the A. If you don't know that, you might think you've gotten off at the wrong stop. You can see the route here. Burano's the second to last stop. And it is this one. A couple of quick notes. Even though the A stop purports to only be for the 12th ferry, it is also where the ferry to the airport arrives. So you'll see people getting on and off. So just because there's only one bus doesn't mean that's your bus. There are 4 stops before Burano. It is a 42-minute trip, and there's a lot of people getting on every time because the ferry only comes every 30 minutes for Burano. San Michele, which is the separate island which serves as the cemetery. Angie had a great idea, which is that you get on first, get right by the chain, and then you can get to the back of the bus, the vaporetto, which is, it's not only cooler back here, you get more of a breeze, but obviously you get a better view, as she can show you right there, which is this great part of San Michele Island, the cemetery of Venezia.
And over here you can see the Dolomites in the distance.
Oh, oh yeah, behind us there. Maybe not on camera, but trust me, they're there.
Burano. Next stop.
I don't know about this opinion, but I think the trip to Burano might be worth it just for the trip to Burano. I mean, this is really nice, right?
It's a nice boat ride.
So, I don't know, just random opinion.
When you exit the vaporetto, there is a water fountain. It is very safe to drink and surprisingly cool. We show you these a lot in our Italy videos because there's just no reason to waste your money on bottled water when you visit most places in Italy. As we hinted at earlier, Burano is a destination that is bucket list beautiful, and although we plan on showing you the places that we recommend visiting, occasionally we'll just let you enjoy this beauty like we are here. Speaking of beauty, Burano made its reputation on having some of the most beautiful lace items in the world, and many shops showcase these items, as well as the lace weavers who produce them. They understand people will be walking through and viewing them, but some shops don't want you to take photographs inside. As full-time travelers, we don't really buy things when we travel, but in this case, we certainly wanted to have a look.
I think the best part about Burano is just walking around Burano and just experiencing this atmosphere. It is consistently on the list of the 10 most colorful cities in the entire world. However, over here, the Ponte, Angie just showed you the Ponte dei Tre Ponti. I'm not so sure that's the best place to walk because that is always the place where the most tourists are. You can see them now. If you enjoy people taking Instagram photos, then it is by far the best place to walk in Burano. The other thing that Angie pointed out about it is it's the Ponte dei Tre Ponti, but I only see Due Ponti, 2 bridges. So if somebody could tell us in the comments, I'm not quite sure why it's not the Ponte dei Due Ponti. News alert, Angie has a theory as to why it's called Tre Ponti instead of Due Ponti.
I think it's because it connects 3 islands. The one that we're standing on, the one here on the right,
Okay.
and then the one on the other side of the canal on the left.
Then why isn't it the Ponte dei Tre Isole?
That I cannot tell you.
Okay.
Dogs of the vlog.
We are here in front of Tiffany's house, which is one of the 3 prettiest properties in Burano. And I have to address the whole legend behind the colored houses. Now, one of the words you don't hear in Italy a lot is bugia. Bugia means lie, and that's not as fun as legend, because legend, it's a lie too in Italy, but it's a fun lie. So all of the legends as to why these houses are colored are much more interesting than the truth. So I'll quickly tell you some of the legends. The most fun one is that they are colored, were colored when this was an island that whose economy was driven by both fishing and lace, and the fishermen would romantically return home after a long day's work in the fog, and the colors helped them see the houses. But back when that was the case, none of these houses were colored like that. They were just normal color houses. So that's why that isn't true. It's also the same reason why the theory that they would use the extra paint from their boats. As you can see, if I can, terrible cameraman, but you can see the boats are also colored, that they would use it to paint their houses. That's not the case. So just the truth, if you don't want to hear the truth, then just fast forward 15 seconds. But the truth is that they are colored this way because it's property lined. Now, you can see, I'll show you here Tiffany's house. It's one of the 3 best houses, but it's also very, very small, and so the color would denote the property line. It, you know, nice borders make nice neighbors, and so you would be able to extend your house out to the river, and a lot of people would put seats and stuff like that, and so that would keep it nice and also extend the value and size of your house. Theoretically, on nice weather days like today, you can really make use of that extra space. So if you're a subscriber to our channel, you know that we love leaning towers. Angie kind of felt that Pisa was overrated. I felt that Bologna was very underrated. Those towers are really leaning. The one here, it's kind of tough to tell. It's being stabilized, but the story is kind of funny. At one point, a person in charge decided it wasn't tall enough for the prestige of Burano, because when Burano was the most prestigious lace manufacturer in the world, that carries prestige with it. And of course, port places were much more important to the economy then than they are now. So he decided to add an addition to make the bell tower Campanile higher, and it couldn't sustain that, so it started leaning. They figured it out when all of a sudden the bell rang and nobody was there. So now they have to spend an enormous amount of money to stabilize it, and you know, we'll see what happens then. Man, they were awesome. They're from Perth.
We're from Melbourne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from the other end.
They went, sì, tre quarto irlandese, un quarto italiano. So I'm 3/4 Irish and 1/4 Italian. But so obviously, they would say sempre ubriaco, always drunk, because those are my two backgrounds.
That's right.
But,
the Irish love to drink.
We do. Yeah.
For lunch, we decided on I Banchi to get some cicchetti. Cicchetti is the Venetian version of tapas that you see in Spain. Here's where it's located.
Posso filmare? Sì, grazie. Il nostro lavoro è YouTube. Bene. Ok. Un fritto misto piccolo. E cicchetti 2 seppia. Un gambero. Un orato e un branzino. E basta per 2 persone?
Penso di sì.
Ok.
Fritto misto piccolo.
Sì, fritto misto piccolo. Grazie mille.
Prego.
All right, obviously this is the fried seafood piccolo. Then we have the orato and the branzino. And then we got 2 cuttlefish and a gambarino, which is shrimp, obviously. So time to chow down. That was a 4.7, which is pretty lofty on TripAdvisor. How would you rate that?
I would agree. I thought it was great.
Wow.
They had multiple types of grilled fish, and of course frito misto if you want fried fish, which I can never resist. But I'm very picky about the batter and the salt, and it was perfect. But also the grilled fish was great. It's nice to mix it up and have a combination of all of that. So yeah. One thing I have noticed about Burano is that many of the doorways have wrought iron, like not a valance, over top of it, but they all also have a fabric curtain hanging in front of the front of the door. They're all different patterns and colors, just like the buildings themselves, but it really adds a charming ambiance to the town because they're all blowing in the wind, and it's very quaint and relaxing. It's soothing, and you can see that they coordinate the curtains in front of the front doors with the colors on the houses.
One of the things that I think is really cool about these windows is, and they don't make these anymore, so only the houses that have them, these are the window stoppers. So theoretically it goes down. This one doesn't anymore, but it goes down when you want the windows to be released, the shutters, yeah. And then it goes up, and it's like the face of a man or a face of a woman. So you see all the houses that have been here a long time have these. So it's up right here, and then it goes down. I don't want to put the down because it's not my house, but I think that's really cool. But the newer ones, you can see these are newer shutters. They don't have the old-timey window stoppers, but like this one does. This one looks new, it doesn't. This one looks a little more authentic, and it does. I just think that's really cool.
The way that these shutter stoppers work is the man's face on the front is on top, and if you pull it up and drop it down, the woman's face is on the back side there.
Cool.
Something else that's not mentioned all the time is, in addition to the lace manufacturing that happens here, there's also a lot of linen. And other fabric and tapestries. Okay, now we are at the real reason, my absolute favorite reason to be here, which is Casa Bepi. So Bepi is my favorite janitor of all time. I don't want Bruce Ryan to get upset at me. I'm saying my favorite non-fiction janitor of all time. Obviously, Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting is my favorite. But this is the one house that you will see does not have one single color. This has multiple colors. Bepi was a janitor, reportedly not a great janitor because he was known as lazy and sweaty were the two biggest ways of determining him, but he had a huge heart and everybody loved him. And the reason why there's so many colors is he couldn't afford to paint his house, as small as it is, so people would give him the leftover paint that they had once they finished painting their boat and their house, and he would use all those colors. So there's no rhyme or reason to this. You can see over here, I think it's just beautiful even though it's not a rhyme or reason. Now, something you should know, when Bepi lost his janitor job, things got really great. You see the flat part of his house up here, he would, to make a living, throw a sheet and put it down from the window, and he would project movies because he was a giant film lover, and he would charge a very nominal fee for the people to come watch movies on his house. And so that's how he made a living for the rest of his time. But yeah, it's off the beaten path. You don't see a lot of tourists here, but to me, this is a great attraction. And a lesser known fact is that his neighbor was my namesake.
Oh yeah, Casa Angela.
And now is the reason that I'm really here. So, something to note, the bussolai, the round ones were created in the shape of a compass, and later they added an S, essi, in the shape of the Grand Canal in Venice. So there's two types. This purveyor of the famous cookie has been here since 1926, and they also sell a non-traditional type, which is fruit-filled. But you can see here, again, the original compass, circular-shaped one, and the essi. The smells from the outside smell like shortbread, so I'll let you know after I taste them. Circular, esse, sì, which is better?
Same.
The same.
Different shape.
But they don't have a different texture? This one's softer, this one's harder, or exactly the same?
Exactly the same. Questi sono più secchi, questi sono più morbidi.
Okay, grazie. I'm ready to try my bussolai, and I got the esse shape, essi, or S, in the shape of the Grand Canal. So standing at the entrance of the store, it smelled like shortbread. I have no idea what it's going to taste like.
Bene or no?
Well, it has sugar, so I like it. It is very much like a shortbread with a hint of lemon. So that's what I could say is most like. It's like shortbread with lemon added. Very good, and it's sugar.
Okay, Burano was beautiful as promised, but next week we are back on the Venice mainland to give you all our lessons learned from our 4 visits there, the do's, the don'ts, and everything in between. So please join us, and if you don't mind, like and subscribe to the 4 Chains Travel.